this goes all the way back to 2000 with George W. Bush, when you had supporters of Al Gore who, even after Vice President Gore conceded the election and certified it himself as the president of the Senate, refused to accept George W. Bush as legitimate. You've had Hillary Clinton say that she still doesn't accept the 2016 election results as legitimate. This is a very dangerous thing in this country, which was brought to a new level in 2020
but
by
I have to interrupt right there, because you also know, Governor, Al Gore stood before the nation and actually conceded and did something very different from what we've witnessed.
David.
Yeah, this is much
David,
different.
I didn't say Al Gore. David, let's be clear. Let's remember what I said.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. And Chris Christie is part of the problem in this country. He's not part of the solution. Well, at the bare minimum, at least he's not an election denier. He's worked hard to shift the overturn window by pacifying the fascist Donald Trump and normalizing the extreme alt-right plunge of his party. Both sideism is simply wrong when one side is demonstrably evil. Lead ABC News anchor Dave Muir had to pump the brakes on Christie's nonsense, a position which a major network news anchor should not have to walk back. But kudos to Muir for having the soul and the guts to stand on common sense and decency. Christie was trying to draw an equivalency between the persistent, violent treason of Donald Trump and Al Gore from the 2000 campaign.
There were still many of his supporters around the country who did not believe that George W. Bush was legitimate, and in fact voted against certification in the House of Representatives. What I'm saying is this is a disturbing trend and pattern that's been increasing in intensity from 2000 to 2016 to now to 2020.
I get what you're saying. I just don't want our audience to think that I'm not aware that there isn't a real equivalency here when you have a former president who is sowing the seeds of doubt.
The reality is there is no similarity whatsoever. And in actual matter of fact, there is 100% stark contrast between these events and the responses of the men involved. The 2000 Bush-Gore election was actually close, as in once in a lifetime unprecedented close. It came down to a few votes in one single state. The 2020 election between Biden and Trump, well, Biden won by a greater margin than Trump did in 2016 when Trump characterized it as the bigliest landslide election since George Washington beat Frederick Douglass. Next, let's take a look at how each of them responded. Al Gore conceded willingly, like a decent human being who didn't want to put American democracy through the turmoil of a potentially really hotly contested situation. Looking back with 2020 hindsight, pun intended, Al Gore may have performed one of the most selfless acts for the good of American democracy that day. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who directed a violent coup and intends to do it again. He will stop at nothing to seize power, no matter what, and the Constitution is nothing more than toilet paper to this anti-American jackass. So where is your honesty, Chris Christie? What is the effect of your sniveling partisan maneuverings? Because all you're doing is trying to take this country down the toilet in the name of saving face for your political party. Christie wants to establish himself as some kind of level-headed moderate and then take the facade to con as many over as he can to the right. Because that's his cash cow. That's the Republican Party platform. Hoodwink working-class voters with idle rhetoric and then step on them. Leech off their hard work while you do nothing but use public office to increase your own dividends at the expense of and the detriment of working people. There have been examples of Chris Christie throughout history. Spineless pacifists who won't denounce evil because they can coattail gain off of it. And they disgust me. But folks, that's the Republican Party. 90% of them are wholly evil fascists. 9.9% are spineless opportunists. And 0.1% are Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.